It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
And we'll now hear from Claire Lang with XM Satellite Radio.
Thank you. I guess what I would like to ask you, and thank you for doing this today, Richard, is what would you like the fans to think of when they think of this celebration and this historical moment in your career? What do you want the fans to think of or to do?
Well, you know, you look at it from the standpoint that you would like the fans to know that, hey, you've been here, you've done that, and you're still here. From the standpoint of being able to accomplish a lot of the things with Petty Enterprises all these years, and really it's more of a situation to let the majority of these people that are new fans, drivers or whatever, owners or whatever, look back and see what really built the sport, helped build the sport. I came along with a bunch of other guys that helped build the sport. It was sort of like when they ran the very first race, it was like planting a seed. Okay, and then the tree started growing, and I grew with it a little bit, and then the branches go out. These guys are now taking advantage of what a lot of the people did way back. And this is just a reminder that, hey guys, y'all didn't get here by yourself. There was a lot of people that really helped get you here, and for them to look back at the history and say, hey guys, you know, if they just come by and say, we appreciate what you and Pearson and Allison and Yarboroughs and Bakers have done over these years, just to get us in a position to go do what we want to do. So I guess from the fan standpoint, the driver standpoint, that's what I would like to see, just sort of a reminder that, hey, it ain't always been this easy.
And how would you like to be remembered by everybody down the road?
You know, I've been asked that question a lot of times, and I look at it and I say, the main deal is they remember you, okay? Whether you was good, bad, or whatever. If you are remembered, then that's about all you can expect.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We will now hear from Brad Gilley with Performance Racing Network.
Hey, Richard, thank you very much for doing this today. I want to ask you this. I mean, you've pretty much grown with NASCAR for the last 50 years, and when you look at it through your eyes, all the different changes that we've seen, whether it's been a consolidated schedule, no longer using stock sheet metal, you know, all the way up to the car of tomorrow and safer barriers and whatnot, what are some of the more significant changes, in your opinion, that kind of help shape what NASCAR is today?
Well, you know, there's so many different people, so many different things involved over a period of years. I think I'm looking at, you know, NASCAR from 49, you know, 59. It started with a super speedway deal that gave us a lot of credibility that we were running something beside, you know, horse race tracks or fairgrounds and stuff. So that moved through that era with a little bit of growth. I mean, it's always been uphill, but just a little step at a time. Then RJR with their Winston brand got involved in 1971, and then in 72 they cut the schedule back. We was running like 47, 48 races a year. They cut it back to 28 races or something like that, and started running at 250-mile races and bigger. So we went from, you know, old-time stuff into a new era. And then we were lucky enough in 72 to get STP as a sponsor, okay, and that was the first nationwide sponsor that was really come into cup racing, okay. But between RJR and STP, the first thing you knew, people in New Hampshire knew about us, people in Washington State, people in Wisconsin, people in Texas or whatever, because we were like pre-advertised, okay? So we were thrown out there, and the people just had heard about it. And then, you know, then they come along with a little bit of TV, then they come along with a big TV deal that puts us all back out there in everybody's deal. Plus, they start building racetracks in different parts of the country. New Hampshire, you know, Chicago, Kansas City, you know, Phoenix, all around. So first thing you know, we'll go all over the country, but we're already pre-sold because a lot of our sponsors had been using this as a nationwide sponsorship, even though the majority of the races came in the South or Southeast. So all of those things together, just a little at a time, just like taking one step at a time. Some of the steps have been 2 or 3. You skipped a couple of steps and jumped up really big. And so there's not any one given thing that's made it happen. It's just been a bunch of people over a period of time, and a lot of them working independently just to make their part of the show better. And as it joined all together, then NASCAR today is what you have.
Is there anything that the old NASCAR had that you wish maybe today's NASCAR had? Is there anything missing from today's racing?
It's really hard to say because we look at, say, us old-timers, okay, and old-time fans. They remember their time in the sun or whatever it may be, and that's the way they remember it. That's the way they grew up with it. But as we progress, as the country changes, as society changes, the fans change, we've got to create something different than what our granddaddy or our daddy seen. We've got to have a new show or a new situation to draw new fans. And without the fans, then, we wouldn't be sitting here talking. So we've got to say, okay, what do the fans really want to see? What do they expect NASCAR racing to be? And then we have to do everything we can to satisfy that want.
And was there any point through the last 50 years that you realized that you were actually a famous guy, that Richard Petty was a famous name?
Not really. It was one of those deals, like I said before, it came on slow. There's a little bit more publicity today than there was last week or last year or 10 years down the road. But you got to figure, when we first started, I think the first race I ran at Columbia, South Carolina, in 1958, I think there was one reporter there, okay? And then, after it got up and got to running we had 4 or 5 reporters that went to all the races, no TV cameras, no on-spot interviews or none of that stuff. So as racing grew, society grew, technology grew, then it helped us grow. We helped it helped us. So everybody sort of, they do their own thing, but it helps a lot of other things to make it all work.
Thanks a lot, Richard. Appreciate it.
We will now hear from Dwight Drum with Racetake.com.
Hi, Richard. Drivability probably hasn't changed throughout the racing decades, but do you think that today's drivers need some special skills that drivers of yesterday didn't need?
No, I don't think the skill level or the things that took to get around a racetrack and all this kind of stuff. I think that probably looking back, that maybe the drivers of the older age maybe adjusted to track conditions and stuff a little bit better maybe than they do today, because if you listen on these radios and they keep talking to the crew chiefs, it's, the car's pushing or it's loose, it's not sticking and ain't getting any traction, and the guys will say, well, we'll fix it when you can make the next pit stop. When we started the race, that was it. If you was in a 500-mile race and the car handled bad, there was nothing you could do to the car, so the driver had to adapt to whatever the circumstances his car was. And these guys today, they fix stuff before they really adapt, because they know no need to adapt into what I got, because when we make a pit stop, we're going to change it. It's going to be different anyway. So I think those are the levels. Plus, a lot of these drivers now drive by listening to their spotters. We didn't have spotters. We didn't have radios. We had a blackboard, and you damn run down the straightaway at Daytona at 200-mile-an-hour and try to read 43 blackboards and figure out which one was yours. But and those were the skills that we had at that particular time. Okay, these guys have got skills to listen to their spotters, to find out where they're at, to find out what the competition's doing. So that part of it is a little bit different. But as far as going down there and turning that steering wheel and being able to get the most out of that car, that part of the skill's not changed.